Hello YouTube. Today we're going to take a Stalker GIJOE classified action figure, stripped down to the body, just like this, and we're going to turn it into Shortfuze, the 82 version. Alright, so I've got my Stalker classified body. I got a head from Etsy that I kind of put a quick coat of paint on just to put something on it, and as you can see, the head kind of looks like Bruce Willis, and that was the closest one I could find to what Shortfuze's head originally looked like, at least in the comic books and whatnot. I bought this from Etsy. It's another strap. I pre-painted this already. We'll do some touch-up work on that, and that will be his harness. And then I ordered these from Gridiron Studios. Here's the helmet, and it looks really good. The only thing I did was I took out all of the straps in here. That way it could fit on his head real good. I was having some issues with putting that on his head. It'll fit on a classified head. I tried it on that. It works great. But as you can see, this looks more like it. So I didn't really want the straps on there, so I did take those straps out. So that kind of gives you an idea there of what we're getting into. But this set that Gridiron makes is awesome. There's your mortar tube. Got your bipod. This comes loose so that it sets up just like that. And then you've still got your pack. You've got your rounds. They look great. I'm not even going to touch these, not even going to paint this up or nothing. And you've got your, like, a phone here, radio, so that's pretty neat. Got a canteen, and I might throw a little bit of wash on this. We'll see. We'll see how it goes, like normal. We'll see how it goes. It came with this submachine gun also, and the clip comes out, so that's pretty cool. So that is a set from Gridiron, and I will put where I got all this stuff in the comments below. But so this is what we're going to get started on. If you haven't already, check out some of my other G.I. Joe classified customs that I've done. I've done a ripcord custom, I've done a zap custom, and I've done the fridge custom. And those are some videos to check out if you're interested in seeing some customs done for the G.I. Joe classified line. And we got this one, and then I've got a few more coming up that you can check out. Okay, well, let's get started. Okay, first things first, let's take a look at this picture. All right, his sleeves and his neck. Now, if you look at this one, it's green, and it's the same color as the suit. Also, if you look at the action figure, it's the same color. But in the comic books, it's red, like most of them. And I've also seen them other shades too. So the common theme is usually the green, whatever color that is, or it's red. So I don't want to put this same green on here. You know, it would look too plain. So I got another shade of green I'm going to try out, and it is the US dark green, the Vallejo, and I'm going to put that on these sleeves. We're going to go ahead and do that first. That way we can get a different shade. Let's see if that works. That's gonna look like it maybe lightens it up a little bit, because I don't want to go with a totally different shade of green. It's really, really off. But at the same time, it's kind of making a difference. You can see a difference in it. And that's what I'm going for. Like I don't want it to be too flashy. If I wanted it to be flashy, I would have hit it with the red, you know? So I'm gonna go with this. And you can see there's a difference, but not too great of a difference to where it really stands out. That's not what I want. So we're gonna go ahead and hit this one next. And realistically, I could have probably just left it alone altogether, but that's just not what I wanted. I was tempted to put the red on there, but I've got another one that I'm going to put the red on. I've already done the yellow with Zap, because that's the way his was. But you can see there's a little bit of a difference, but not so huge where it's really noticeable. So we're kind of staying true with the figure and the you know, the comic, or not the comic, the cartoon figure, because he was all a shade of green, which was a totally different shade of green than this and that. So it just all depends on what you want to do. You know, if you want to go with the cartoon, you'll do it one way. You want to go with the comic, you do it another way, and then, or you can just do it your own way. It doesn't matter, because it's yours. It's whatever you want to do. So there is a different shade of green, but not so far off that it stands out. Okay, I will say this though. Here's something that I think I am going to do. Now, his hands are shown here, okay? But this Stalker figure came with gloves. So what I'm going to do is kind of give the effect of like the gloves you would have seen with the airborne guys. I'm going to use this Japanese uniform color. The World War II U.S. airborne guys, they had like a yellow tinted leather glove. So I am going to do that instead of a hand or trying to sand these gloves off and stuff like that. We're just going to do this here and kind of give it that effect. And I will imagine with this color, I'm probably going to have to put 2 coats on there. But that's something a little bit different, something that you kind of add in. You know, there's no real purpose behind this. So I am going to paint these gloves on, and then we'll get started on the next thing. Okay, so we got 2 coats on the hands. You can see that. And I'll put on some kind of shader on those sooner or later. I also painted the belt, and I painted the same color I did the sleeves and the neck. That way we're keeping the same theme all the way around. So this is what we've got so far. Now, this action figure, these pockets on the side were brown, okay? I've also seen them a different shade of green. We're gonna go with the brown on this. These pockets I'm gonna try silver. I'm not sure how that's gonna go. We might play with that. We might actually, I don't know, might even do a gray. We'll see how this goes, because that's just kind of weird, those silver pockets. And you can see here, like that's not silver, that's more of a darker shade of green. So we're gonna play with that. I think we're gonna try silver first. If it don't look right, I'll paint over it. We'll try something else. That's the beauty of acrylics. You can kind of do whatever you want. So first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna hit these pockets on the side, and I'm gonna hit them with the flat earth tone. Okay. It'll bring those out. I mean, I know G.I. Joe were special ops guys. They had some different kind of outfits, but I don't know if I'm willing to go that different. I'd rather kind of keep them grounded. You know, maybe a little bit out there, but maybe a little bit more realistic too. Okay, there's one pocket. Hit that seam line there. That's one pocket done. Let me lift that hand. Okay. Better lift this arm too. Okay. I'll get this other pocket done. Most of the time, I say it's okay if you mess up, especially if you're painting the bolt action guys, because you can always fix them. This is a little bit more unforgiving. You can still fix it because you can water this stuff down and get rid of anything that accidentally hits elsewhere, but you don't want to get into a spot where you gotta repaint the rest of this that you've sprayed, because then you got to tape off and everything else, and that's a pain. And usually that means it's ripping off paint and possibly clear coats and everything else. Then you got to go back for repaints, and it can be a real nightmare. So I try my best not to hit this stuff after it's been sprayed. So there are our brown pockets. Got our gloves done, sleeves, neck, and our belt done. So we are good to go there. I think we're gonna go ahead and try. Maybe try. Let's do a Luftwaffe uniform instead. I don't know. That silver is just, it's not doing it for me. I think it's a little bit too wild. I just can't see that being a thing. Okay. Go ahead and bring that up. You can see that's kind of, I think that'll do. Because it's not a green. It's not a gray, but it's not a silver either. I don't know, that silver's a little too wild. Who in their right mind is gonna go out in a battle with silver all over them? That just sounds kind of crazy. So I think that'll do it. Let me clean that brush, bring that up and take a look. All right, there you go. I think that's better. And you can see, you know, that's darker. I know there's a lot of shading on that, but that seems a little bit more realistic than that silver. Okay. I think we're gonna go ahead and hit the boots next, and that would be with the Vallejo black. And I don't know if I showed there or not, that was the Luftwaffe uniform that I used for that pocket. And then of course the flat earth for the pants pockets. So we're gonna go ahead, get some black on there. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and start one boot, and then I'll go off camera and paint the rest, because you know, it gets boring watching somebody paint all that. And I know some of my earlier videos I really go into detail. If you want to see that, especially with my ripcord video. And the fridge, I did go into some detail with him. I think Zap, I kind of didn't go crazy, but you know, don't want to bore you. So that is one boot. And I'm just putting on the black. That figure had some brown on the boot. And I believe the comic book character did as well. But I'm just going to stick with the basic black, because there's not really anything on here. I could probably paint maybe those straps brown, but I don't know if I really want to get into that. I don't think it would make a huge difference. It wouldn't make it or break it. So I think we're just going to stick with black this time. I know, I think I put some silver on Zap's boots, but we're just going to stick with black. Okay. I'll go ahead and hit the bottom too. All right, that is one boot down. And I will finish up the other one. I'm gonna bring that up that way because we still got some wet paint. All right, that's one done, and I will finish the other one off camera. Okay, so while we're waiting on all this to dry, because there's a lot of things that are still wet, I'm gonna go ahead and put a base coat of the dark flesh on this head. And that way we can get that going. And this is a base coat. And then we just highlight that as we go. And that might need a couple coats. Sometimes I have to put a couple coats on. It looks like this one's going to take two. Sometimes you get lucky, you only have to do one. Ooh, that's a big blob. And you just cake that on everywhere. Smooth it out. And I looked at various heads for this project, and I don't know, man. Bruce Willis's head, his sculpt just says it. Like, he looks like he would make an awesome Shortfuze. It would probably make the character more interesting than what he was years ago, with Bruce Willis being Shortfuze. Even though if you watch the movie, Bruce Willis was Joseph Colton, the guy who started G.I. Joe. But we're not talking about that movie. We're talking about the cartoons and how cool they were. All right, so there's a base coat. I am going to give that another shot here in a little bit. But yeah, we're moving right along. Everything's going good so far. And let's see if I can pull. I'll just kind of pull this up. I think the black's the only thing that's still wet on the boots. But there's the boots. And there's everything we've painted so far. Okay. And at some point, I'll be using some military shader on this whole, everything that's green is going to get hit with military shader. And the face is going to get the flesh wash after we're done with another coat of the dark. Oh, I also got to hit his neck too. And I'll actually probably put some of this flesh wash on the gloves as well. Okay. Okay, I have hit the figure, the body, with the doll coat. Bring that up. Let you take a look. That's what we have so far. Looking pretty good. Bring it back. And like I said, you can see the difference, but it's not so bold that it's crazy. That's not what we want. Okay, let's go ahead and take the flesh wash, and we'll just butter up his head. We'll get all those creases real good. Now this has also had its second coat. It has been doll coated. So we're gonna go ahead and just take that and just put it all over it. And I will come back and highlight everything with the medium. That's going to bring out all those creases and everything that we want to see. Okay, so there you see it. That's going to bring everything out. Now, real quick, I'm going to use the smaller brush, and I'm going to hit these gloves with that flesh wash as well. But I'm not gonna butter it up like I did that head, because I don't want that much on them. I just want more like in between the fingers, just enough to separate that. This is kind of like more what I would do with a 1/35 scale kit. You got this separation here, maybe a few creases. I'm not putting a whole lot on. Oh, I'm shaking bad tonight too. This is probably not a good night to paint. But let's see. Bring that in. You can kind of see, like I said, we're not going nuts with it. We're just kind of bringing that stuff out. That's one thing you don't want to do sometimes, is go crazy. I'm also going to hit that neck. Also painted the neck. It may sound like I said paint the neck. I painted the neck. And I will go ahead and hit that with this too. We bring out that a little bit better. Like I said, we don't want a whole lot on there, but just enough to let you know that there is a difference. Makes them look a little bit worn, maybe. Maybe that's what I'm going for. A worn look. You can kind of spread that out a little bit. And then once you hit it with the dull coat, that shiny sheen will go away. That'll be a thing of the past. But that is exactly what we want. Bring a little bit more in there. Okay. And then I'm just going to kind of hit right in there. I don't want to put a whole lot in there either. You watch my Zap video, you'll see me mess up and have to go back over that because it was too wet. I was getting impatient. Okay, so you kind of see what we've done there. Let me do this real quick. This will help. All right. Kind of see those gloves. See the neck. Oop. So that shows you what we've done. And we even bring the head up again too. So you see all the creases brought out. And then we'll let those dry. And then we'll hit it with the medium flesh tone. Also, I think I'm just gonna kind of butter this military shader up on him pretty good. Last time I didn't go crazy. I'm not gonna go crazy this time. I think I'm gonna put a little bit more on than what I did last time. I'm just gonna kind of work it out maybe a little bit better. We'll kind of make it a little darker around certain areas. Mainly where the wrinkles are. And then we'll just kind of leave it light elsewhere. Hit that in there. Mixed a little bit of water in with it too, that way it won't be too crazy. We don't want to get crazy. Like I did right there. That's what we don't want to do. That's okay. It'll come right off of there. Mainly, I don't want it to really bunch up on the main parts of his t-shirt and stuff. That's where I really don't want it. I don't really want it in this either, his sleeve, because I purposefully kind of didn't get in the grooves. I left it the way it was. That way it would already look like it was kind of shaded in there anyways. And I'm kind of going for, I want the toy vibe, but I want a little bit more detail than the toy vibe. So I don't know, maybe one of these days I'll take one of these and try to do more of a Super 7-ish looking type deal with them, where they've got more of the toy vibe. I really like those figures too. Those are cool. I did some reviews on those too. I got a Duke and a Snake Eyes, and looking forward to the next group of those coming out. I'm gonna have to definitely get some more of those. Really excited about the Doc figure and Flint. Like I said, we're not going nuts with it, but just enough to see some shading. And then, you know, once once I spray that dull coat on there, you're going to be able to see that shine or anything. So I kind of let you see what I'm going. I'm going to finish the rest of this off screen. That way you're not totally bored. Try to get the runs too. I want to get the runs. Okay, so now we're pretty much just waiting on stuff to dry for the next step. But let me show you what I did while I'm waiting. I painted the silver, some of the clips and stuff, and I also put this green piece around here. Now, in some of the comics, and in some of the Noir art, for what looked to be like the children's reading books, there was red around these straps. Usually they were like a brown or like a yellowish brown, like a leather, and then they'd have red around those straps. But instead I decided to put some green around there for something different. And I don't think it'll stand out too much because of all the green on that figure. But that's just something a little different. I did butter up the helmet and the pack that the mortar came with. We'll bring that in, get a good look at that mortar. That is Gridiron Studio work right there. So that's awesome. You need to check them out. All the cool stuff that they make. I'm gonna bring this up again. That's cool. While we're waiting, here's so just stuff to check out. They have all kinds of stuff over there. If you're looking for accessories for your G.I. Joe classifieds, you might want to check them out. I will show you this. This is still drying, but there is the pack. And I just kind of buttered that up. That way I can get some dark stuff in there for shading. But you can kind of see what's going on there. But that's still drying. I have to spray that with dull coat to get rid of that sheen. And then there's the helmet. You can see. Did the same thing. We're just going for, you know, the shading and maybe some grime. You never know. Okay. Let's get started with the medium flesh tone. We're gonna go ahead and start lightening this up. Now, we're just gonna kind of go for everything that's sticking out. You're looking to bring all of his features out when you do this. And that's the medium shade, and then we'll even go a shade lighter. But we're just trying to bring out all of his features, and he has a lot of them to bring out. This is definitely a good palette or face, so to say, to to work with. And I wetted the brush just a little bit because I'm trying not to get it to where it's too noticeable. We want it to be smooth. You can see that wrinkle there too. We definitely want to keep that because that looks great. Look at that. That's what we wanted to keep, that wrinkle in there. We want to bring that up in there. When I get done with this, it's probably, after you put the blonde hair on there, it may not look too much like Bruce Willis. Of course, he had some blonde hair in a couple movies, but not the usual Bruce Willis that you're thinking of, like you're usually thinking of Die Hard. And that's almost like what this sculpt looks like. It's from a John McClane from Die Hard. And this sculpt is amazing. This is very, very cool. Awesome job on this sculpt. This is great. Like I said, great. Great head to work with. Bringing out the ears, and I think that is it. That'll start to bring that out. You can see a difference. Not a huge difference yet, but you will. And I am going to definitely paint the eyes off camera. And then when this dries, I'll put the last coat on, which is the skin tone, after the eyes are done, and then paint the hair. And then hopefully by then, the body and everything will be dry and we'll be just about ready to go. Okay, the eyes are done. We're gonna get the skin tone. I put a little bit of water in there. That way we can get it smooth, because we don't want it too light, and we don't want it not light enough. It might be a little too light. Okay, let's bring this down. We're just highlighting. He's got a lot of nice creases that you can really bring that all out. Like, this sculpt is great. This will turn out looking good. It's just if we can get it soft, I have to add a little bit more water to that, because I really don't want. I did make a mistake on my zap. I didn't water this stuff down enough, so you didn't really get the softness that you should have with it. I mean, it looks okay, but it could have looked a lot better. And I'm trying to get that softness to come out in this. That's one good thing about working with acrylics, is you can just add a little bit of water. Like what I'm doing right now. Just a little bit of water goes a long way. Tell you what, painting faces and stuff like that with acrylics, comparison to with oil, because I've done that before, is a totally different ball game. I mean, this is so much easier. If you paint with oil, don't stop, because it does look cool, it does look good, and hats off to you, because It takes a lot of time and a lot of blending work, where this is just kind of, like I said, you just add a little bit of water and you're good to go. And you can see the difference. See, that's a little bit heavy. So I just add a little bit of water. But you can see that we're just kind of bringing all that out. A little bit in there. And realistically, you ain't even gonna see his forehead when I get done. We're probably back in here with his ears, because that helmet's gonna cover almost all that. So I guess it really doesn't matter what I did, but it's okay, because it's fun. We're having fun. And that'll dry and blend in. The eyebrows, I am going to use a brown, because actually if you look at the figure, the action figure, he has brown eyebrows, which we're just going to go with that. The picture, he has black eyebrows, but we're just going to go ahead and go with this and kind of go. I know you can't really make him look too angry, because that just don't go along with his whole thing, but that looks pretty good. And we'll go ahead and get the pupils too. There we go. Just a little dot. There we go. That looks pretty good. And then the hair, I think we're gonna go ahead, actually, you know what we're gonna do? I'm gonna go ahead and paint that brown, and then I'll bring it out with some yellow, with some kind of a mix, because that way we can get all the shading in too. Go ahead and paint all that, and that is with the earth tone. All right, I will continue painting this, finish that off screen, and then you'll get to see what it looks like. But you get the idea so far. All right. Okay, and the head's done. Bring that up, take a look. Got some blonde hair there with some brown roots, and you're probably not going to see much of that anyways once that helmet's on. I mixed yellow, and I mixed the Japanese uniform color to get that hair color. Those two right there. So, and like I said, you can see the difference. I mean, that's not going to be exactly him, but you know, if I try to get an overall of the figure, the art, the comic book art, and the cartoon art itself, and just kind of go with it and see where it takes us. So we got our body, everything right there ready to go. That's all dry. You can see where we put all that military shader in the creases. The backpack did the same thing. Put some military shader on it. The helmet, you see it looks a little bit dark here and there. And And of course we sprayed the straps. And we will get this all assembled, and then we'll go over some character history. Okay, there he is, Shortfuze, all assembled. Let's go over some background first. His first appearance was in 1982 as a figure and as in the comic. He was one of the original G.I. Joe members, premiering in the first issue, which was a double-sized issue. He was in various animated series episodes. His name is Eric W. Freestadt. Birthplace was Chicago, Illinois. His rank was E4 Corporal. His primary MOS, Artillery, and his second MOS was Infantry Engineer. Okay, let's take a look at Shortfuze. We'll just go ahead and drop this because I don't think that paper's going to stay up anyways. We'll put him behind it. Okay, so here we go. You can see what we got right there. Kind of turn him around. He's looking very cool. And maybe I need both hands. Okay, let's hope that doesn't fall. All right. Kind of get you an idea of what it looks from top to bottom. Carrying that pack we got from Gridiron Studio, Gridiron Props. All right, got that machine gun with it too. I wasn't gonna put it with him, but it's like, I don't know, we'll give him an extra weapon. He looks cool with it. Put his visor up, you can see him. Visor back down, because that's the way he looked right there. But he looks very, very good. Really happy with the outcome. Let's go ahead real quick, and I'm gonna go ahead and take off the helmet and put him right back up. So there, now you kind of get an idea. There's the action figure. There he is with the blonde hair. And then we'll put the helmet back on. It slides on fairly easy. There's a few rough spots, but that's okay. All right, so there he is. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you haven't today, go out, thank a veteran, thank them for their service. If you haven't yet checked out some of my other G.I. Joe customs or G.I. Joe reviews, check those out. They're a lot of fun. And God bless.
Spaceforce is pretty good.